David Hurd. I'm a candidate in this year's municipal election. We're standing here in Shepherd's Bush, which is a very special place to me. My family came to Aurora actually in 1802, and I'm related to the Mosley family and Wellington family, as you know, the famous streets in Aurora. This place is very special to me because I remember I was told my father and mother came here on their first date, and my father carved their names in a tree and left a legacy. I came here a lot actually to walk through sometimes when I needed some personal healing. And I later heard the story about EMDR research. I don't know if many of you know about it, but it was invented by a woman who found that when she was walking through a park area, when she was looking back and forth and taking in all this beautiful information, she couldn't process the negative things that were bothering her. And that brings me to a thought that I wanted to share a story with you about our community that we really need to do something about. And it was many years ago that I was volunteering with an agency, a helping agency in town. I got involved helping with many groups like Welcoming Arms and helping found the Rise and Shine Breakfast. And a gentleman, one day I was volunteering, I met him in a seated area at one of the volunteer agencies. And he sat down and he broke down in tears. And I asked him if he was okay. And his answer to me was with a swear, "You won't blank understand." And I said to him, "Maybe you should try me." So we walked outside and we sat outside and we talked, and it turned out that this gentleman was homeless. And he was on his own and alone. And he did have a cell phone with a pay-as-you-go card. And we sat and talked, and we actually exchanged numbers because I said to him, "You know what? If you ever need somebody to talk to, and just, call out, you have my number." So we talked back and forth several times, and one day he asked me if I could tell him a bit about myself, and I told him my story and my journey. And he said to me, "David, for the first time in my life, I don't feel alone. I always thought how I was feeling, it was normal, or it was just me." So one day I was walking into a Tim Hortons restaurant at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and something said to me, "Phone him." So I called him, and the thing that he said on the other end of the phone as soon as he heard my voice is he says, "Hey Dave, hey man, I love what you've done for me, but I just can't take it anymore." He says, "It just hurts too much. I can't, it hurts too much." And I said to him, "Look Bob, if you do what I think you're doing, you will take a piece of everyone that cares about you." I kept him on the phone, and I said, "Where are you?" And he said the location. And I kept talking, and I said, "You have so many people that care about you. You're needed in our community." And he said, I know, but the pain's too great." And then all of a sudden I heard the phone drop, and I could hear him choking. So the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life was I hung up and I called 911. And I told them, I said, "I just got off the phone with a gentleman. His phone is open. I know with technology you can find him. He's 5'8", about 160 pounds. He's got grayish hair." And I told them the location again. Police fire, the 911 told me, they said, "Sir, police fire and ambulance will be dispatched. We will get back to you." And then my phone cut off and I saw it was blocked. My phone rang back about 45 seconds, maybe more. And they said, "Sir, emergency services is trying to find him, but they're having trouble with the information from the cellular provider. And we'll get back to you." And my phone hung up. I didn't hear anything back. I sat up in bed all night waiting to hear back what the news was. And then finally early in the morning, about 7 a.m., after getting some strength and courage, I called the York Regional Police. And I told them about the call. The gentleman on the other end said, "Oh my goodness, are you the gentleman that called in?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Hang a second, I'll get my supervisor." Now I'm old again. A few seconds later, the supervisor came on and he said, "You're the gentleman who called 911? "Yes." And he said, "Sir, you were correct. The gentleman was in the area that you stated. And they located him via the cellular signal. They were having trouble because they were getting a mixed location. But they did find him. And police, fire, and ambulance were just, like I said, they scrambled to find him, and they did. And he was in the location you said. And he had, in an old shed, hung himself with an electrical cord. And I screamed. No, no! The officer got my attention back and he said, "Sir, stop, wait, sir, stop, wait. Listen, he's alive." The team worked together and they got him down and they rushed him to the hospital at South Lake. And they saved his life. I waited a couple of days and I went to the hospital. And I went to the secure area and I asked them if I could see him. And they only let me in when they found out that I was the person on the other end of the 911 call. They sat me down in the room. He was hooked up to all sorts of wires and oxygen and everything. And I sat there and waited. And he had a big red mark around his neck. Suddenly he woke up and he saw me. He pulled the mask away from his face and waved me to come over just gently, and I walked up and I leaned forward, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. I leaned forward and he said in this tone, "Thank you for saving my life." It's taken me a lot of years to be able to tell that story. But I do know that in this town right now of Aurora, there are a lot of people that need us. We need more community. We need to reach out to each other and be that safety net. Because that's what Aurora is, that's what Aurora was, and that's what Aurora can be. Together, like that gentleman, we can be heard. We can keep lives rather than losing lives. We can keep hope rather than losing hope. I will give you every bit of my heart and soul if elected. And I will never not listen to one of our citizens. Thank you. Please vote David, and together we will be heard.